the theme is that it's the Zoom burnout. There are so many classes every day on Zoom
Yes.
that even people who don't work,
Yes.
they spend more screen time, like 9 hours sometimes,
Yes.
and the screen time, it's for some people, for some seniors in this group also, it's true.
Yeah.
There is a lot of media influence.
Yeah.
Since like 4 in the morning, that loneliness creates that companion. So your television becomes your companion. Nobody's listening to what's happening, but
Right.
it's going in the background,
Yeah.
and it causes some dormant stress which they don't notice because they're agitated. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So sometimes when they join the Zoom call, I just unmute everyone, and there is like look, 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 look. It's like a big market in the background, and say,
Yeah.
guys, unless there is quiet thing, we will not start the program.
Yeah.
And then it goes up in like a couple of minutes. So maybe if you give some guidelines on uh, how, may you already mentioned the regimental thing, like waking up at certain time, eating certain time, and
Yeah.
it becomes negligible because sometimes you are just disturbed by the media or whatever you're watching. You're not really into it, but
Yeah.
you're part of it,
Right.
somehow. Yeah.
Right. And I think there's nothing good on the news.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
and part of having like 24-hour news cycle is sensationalism sells. And so
Yeah.
really like there's just a lot of stuff going on in the background which subconsciously you can pick on those things that are going on, and it can cause subconscious stress. Another thing with watching television, and I think part of it is like we're all Netflixing, we're all doing Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're all doing it, and I think you need to do what you need to do to stay inside. I think that's important. It's important to stress that too, right? Stay inside. Try not to meet people. I know it's easy for us to think, just my son, he's not sick, I'm not sick, we know each other, let's meet up. And I think this is how the disease spreads, right? Like we think we're the person we're meeting with is safe, but maybe he might not be. Like we don't know how people are exposed, and we know young people can be asymptomatic carriers. So I think it is important to stay inside. So I think you do what you have to, right? But moderate what you're watching. Watching too much TV, one is the stress that Sachinji you said, and two, it's the blue light, right? Like when
Yeah.
television came in, people were falling asleep, so then they came up with this blue light, where this blue light is actually designed to agitate our ascending reticular system. It's designed to keep us awake. So if you watch too much TV, you will have trouble sleeping at night. It doesn't matter if you watch it in the day, it doesn't matter if you watch it at night. So turn on the self monitoring function on your iPhone or your laptop, so that you know how much screen time you're having in a day, right? And I think prioritize what is important, like talking to your grandchild, talking to your son or your daughter, and then attending this wellness session or attending a meditation session. And some are important, and the rest of it, just go to your backyard, take a walk, take some deep breaths, meditate. It's important to have a structure. I think if you don't have a structure, if you meld into the couch and become a couch potato, you're only going to increase your sense of isolation, and that is going to be compounded if you have a sick one to care for. So, right, like, so you're spending all your time caring for the sick one, which is stressful. And then the rest of it, you're spending time watching television or being on Zoom, or, or reading something, long form article on the New York Times, or the Observer. And all of that in isolation can be a good thing. But if you're doing too much of that, you are going to experience isolation, and that's not good for your mental health. So I would say moderate the content that you're taking in. Just decide if it's important or not. And I think one of I don't know how much if you do cable TV versus doing Netflix or Hulu. And one of the things that these days OTT platforms do is you end up binge watching a lot of shows, right? And that can just, you don't know what happened to those 5 hours of your time. You just like go in, you're multitasking, you're also watching that. That can also sort of affect your mental health. So I think I would say, tell yourself how much screen time you're going to have today, and then draw a Lakshman Rekha, and don't spend too much time on there. Tell yourself like maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes more, but not more than that. Get out, take a walk inside the house. um, yoga poses, easy yoga, chair yoga, whatever, meditate, um, read a book. It's better than reading a book on screen, but if you have to, you could do Kindle.